Imagine this future. Humanity's last desperate hope is crammed onto this decaying starship, just adrift in space.
Yeah, totally lost.
And then maybe light years away, on some distant planet, a species we'd probably, just swat away. Spiders. They evolve over thousands of years into this incredibly advanced civilization. So what happens? Not just when they inevitably meet, but when, survival for both of them hinges on seeing past everything that makes them different.
That's the core of it, isn't it?
It really is. So today we're doing a deep dive into Adrian Tchaikovsky's Children of Time, which is, just a masterpiece of science fiction.
Absolutely.
We want to unpack its huge multi-generational plot, introduce you to these really fascinating characters, and yeah, some aren't human at all, and explore the big ideas, the themes that got us so much critical acclaim. We're going to see why this isn't just, another great sci-fi novel, but one that properly challenges how we think about intelligence, civilization, maybe even being human.
That's exactly right. This isn't just your standard space travel yarn or a first contact story. It's much more layered. It really forces you, the reader, to question assumptions about dominance, survival, what progress even looks like.
Yeah.
We're stepping into a world where, the unexpected is kind of the main event, and where humanity itself gets stretched and redefined. And I think throughout our chat today, we'll keep coming back to this question. What if our definitions of intelligence, of being civilized, are just way too narrow? And maybe, just maybe, our biggest strength isn't being top dog, but our ability to understand and cooperate, even with something truly alien.
I love that framing because the book absolutely delivers on that. So, okay, let's dive right into the core premise. The story, it unfolds across millennia, literally thousands of years.
It's epic in scope.
Totally. And it weaves together these two parallel stories that are just gripping.
Yeah.
So, on one hand, you've got humanity's, frankly, desperate situation.
Yeah.
After wrecking Earth in some awful war. Right. The last survivors are on this massive generation ship, the Gilgamesh. They're mostly in cryosleep, dreaming of finding a new home, some perfect planet to start over. It's, quite poignant, a species trying to escape its own mess.
Definitely.
But then, centuries before the Gilgamesh even left, we meet Dr. Avrana Kern. She's brilliant, no doubt, but also incredibly arrogant.
Oh, massively so.
And she has this grand, almost godlike plan. Terraform a distant planet, make it habitable, and then use this special nanovirus.
Yeah.
Think tiny engineered biological agent.
Yeah, like microscopic robots designed to speed up evolution.
Exactly, to uplift the local primates there into a new intelligent species, like a better humanity, maybe? That was her vision.
And here is where it gets really interesting. And honestly, kind of chilling. Kern's super detailed plan, it goes spectacularly wrong.
Okay, how?
Well, the monkeys she planned to uplift, gone. Wiped out. Some orbital catastrophe, I think. But the nanovirus she released, it doesn't just disappear. It survives, drifts down to the planet, and it ends up infecting, the local spiders.
Spiders. Not monkeys, spiders.
Portia spiders, specifically.
Yeah.
Jumping spiders. And what's just amazing is watching their evolutionary journey, often through this recurring figure, this sort of matriarchal line called Portia, and her descendants over time.
So the virus meant for primates kickstarts spider evolution.
You got it. Over thousands and thousands of years, these spiders, starting as simple hunters, they just accelerate. They develop incredibly complex societies, technologies, their own unique ways of thinking, their own philosophies.
Whoa.
Their progress, all fueled by this nanovirus, it kind of mirrors humanity's own struggle, but almost in reverse. They figure out chemical communication, build these incredible cities out of silk that are almost alive.
Living cities.
Yeah, integrated growing structures. They even develop this kind of collective intelligence. It's this slow burn epic of biological creativity unfolding over millennia.
Okay, so fast forward thousands of years. The Gilgamesh, with the last humans, finally arrives. What do they find?
They find Kern's world, all right. But it's not empty. It's not the paradise they were promised. It's lush. It's thriving. But it's run by these hyper-intelligent, technologically advanced spiders.
Oh, boy.
So for the humans, right, this is it, last chance saloon, their promised land after losing everything. But for the spiders, this is their home. They built this civilization their way.
Yeah, hard won.
Exactly. So the stage is set for, you'd think a catastrophic war, right? Clash of civilizations.
That's what you expect in sci-fi.
Totally. But this is where Tchaikovsky really flips the script. Instead of just all-out war, the climax brings this astonishing twist. a gesture of empathy, cooperation from the spiders.
Really, towards the humans.
Yes, they offer an alliance, a way for both species to survive. It's this really powerful, hopeful message that goes way beyond a simple conflict. It explores complex solutions, challenges the idea that humans have to be number one.
It's unexpected.
It really is, and it makes you think maybe the real measure of advancement isn't power, but that ability to connect, to cooperate, even with something profoundly different.
Absolutely. And that moment, that potential alliance, it really highlights how the settings themselves shape everything. The book uses these two contrasting worlds brilliantly to build tension. First, you have the Gilgamesh.
Right, the ship.
It's just claustrophobic. It's falling apart, this decaying ark, scarred by time and human failure. You feel the pressure on the crew, the dwindling supplies, the constant arguments, the politics.
This sheer psychological weight of it all.
Exactly. The burden of being the last humans.
Yeah.
It's this stark, suffocating reminder of humanity's mistakes, our arrogance. The ship itself feels like a character, embodying our fragility, our trauma.
And then you contrast that with Kern's world, which is the polar opposite.
Yeah.
It's lush, vibrant, dynamic. Evolution is basically an overdrive because of the nanovirus. And the spider societies dominate. They go from, basic hunter-gatherers to these highly organized, tech-savvy cultures.
What's that like? There's
Well, what's really cool is how their biology shapes it. Like, silk isn't just for webs. They build these intricate, almost organic cities with it. And their communication, it's chemical, not verbal like ours.
Chemical. How does that work?
It leads to this kind of distributed intelligence, almost like a biological internet or a collective mind. Individuals contribute, but the problem solving is almost communal.
Wow. That's fundamentally different.
Totally. And that juxtaposition is key, right? You have this failing human civilization stuck on a dying ship, haunted by its past, versus this rising spider civilization, thriving, innovating, adapting on a dynamic world.
It's like a mirror image.
Exactly. It forces us, the readers, to question our own human-centered views. Who's really more successful? Who's more advanced? It flips the whole first contact narrative. Who are the aliens here? Maybe. Maybe it's us.
It's a really stark comparison. Humans are almost stuck, paralyzed by infighting and history, while the spiders are constantly building, using their unique biology, their collective approach, and the characters really bring this alive. Obviously, you have Dr. Kern.
The original architect of, well, everything.
Right. Her ambition, her hubris, it kicks it all off. But even after she physically dies, her mind is uploaded. She persists as this AI satellite orbiting the planet.
Like a digital ghost.
Yeah, a sort of watchful god, maybe benevolent, maybe not, initially resisting the humans' claim to her world. Then you have Portia and her descendants. These spiders, they're more than just characters. They represent the whole arc of spider society. Each Portia is like a lineage, right?
Yeah, like a dynasty. It embodies their cultural memory, their progress. We see them develop tools, figure out complex problems, eventually even achieve space travel. They feel alien, but their drive, it's strangely relatable.
Yeah, on the human side.
Well, you connect with people like Holston Mason. He's a classicist, of all things, on the Gilgamesh.
A classicist on a generation ship.
Yeah. And he becomes this crucial viewpoint character, helping us understand humanity's past failures, their hopes for redemption. Then there's Len, the chief engineer, super pragmatic, just focused on survival, often clashing with the idealists.
Sounds like a classic dynamic.
It is. And you also get leaders like Commander Bran, who kind of embodies human desperation, that stubbornness, often pushing for conquest because, well, what else is left? It highlights the very flaws that got them into this mess back on Earth.
So how do these characters, the desperate humans, the ingenious spiders, Kern's lingering AI ghost, how do they really bring that clash of survival strategies to life, make it dramatic?
That's a great question, because the Portias, for instance, their ingenuity isn't just about evolving quickly, it's a whole different way of solving problems. It's often collective, drawing on shared biological memory, integrated with their environment.
Less about brute force, maybe.
Often, yeah. Elegant solutions, which contrast so sharply with the humans on the Gilgamesh, right? More individualistic, lots of arguments, hoarding resources, haunted by old grudges.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
And Kern's AI presence is this constant reminder of the power and the danger of that initial scientific arrogance. Her legacy hangs over everything. So every choice these different characters make, every viewpoint they hold, it just deepens that central conflict and makes the final outcome, whatever it is, feel so much more earned and impactful.
Okay, so beyond the plot and the characters, which are amazing, Children of Time is packed with these really deep themes, things that stick with you. First off, evolution and progress.
Definitely.
The book puts these two paths side by side, human stagnation, even regression, on the ship versus the spider's incredible ascent on the planet. And it forces you to question, like, what is intelligence, really? Is our way the only way?
Exactly. It pushes back hard against that human-centric view. The spiders develop that distributed intelligence, that network mind via chemicals. How does that change a society compared to ours, with our focus on individual thought, language, ego?
Right.
Tchaikovsky makes us consider that our way isn't the only way, and maybe, just maybe, not always the best or most sustainable way.
And that ties into survival and legacy. Both species are fighting to endure. The book keeps asking, what actually helps you survive long term? Is it violence? Dominance? Or is it being adaptable, cooperative, maybe even empathetic?
It doesn't give easy answers, but it definitely leans towards cooperation and adaptability by the end.
And you can't miss the theme of arrogance of power, right? Dr. Kern embodies it perfectly.
Oh, absolutely. Her initial hubris, thinking she could just control evolution, plague God with this nanovirus that sets the whole thing in motion, it's a massive warning about unintended consequences.
Like ecological disasters, messing with genetics.
Exactly. It mirrors our own anxieties about large-scale intervention, playing God with nature or technology. Her actions ripple across millennia.
Which leads straight to cooperation versus conflict. The whole story builds towards this choice. And the ending offers this really powerful, almost revolutionary idea that true survival isn't about beating the other guy. It's about empathy, finding ways to coexist, maybe even growing together.
It's a hard-won lesson in the book, but incredibly hopeful.
So if you zoom out, what's the big picture takeaway from these themes?
I think the novel becomes this profound meditation on what it means to be intelligent, to be civilized, maybe even humane, by making spiders creatures we often find creepy or alien into these complex, sympathetic protagonists.
You really root for them.
You do, and that completely destabilizes our anthropocentrism, that human-first assumption that we're the pinnacle of everything. It forces you to confront how fragile that idea of human superiority is.
Yeah.
And it pushes us to broaden our definition of intelligence to include radically different kinds of minds. It's basically a call to look beyond ourselves for wisdom, for partnership, maybe even for survival.
And Adrian Tchaikovsky's writing style is just perfect for this. He manages this huge epic scope, balancing really detailed, hard sci-fi, we believe the biology, with his incredible imagination.
It's a remarkable blend, yeah. His narrative technique flipping between the spider's evolution over thousands of years.
Which could be slow.
It could be, but it isn't. Because he contrasts it with the Gilgamesh's struggles over a much shorter human timescale. It creates this unique rhythm. It feels fast, evolutionary, but then bam, you get these tense, immediate human crises on the ship.
Keeps you totally hooked.
For sure, even while you're tracking millennia of spider development.
And I think the boldest thing he does, stylistically, is writing from the spider perspective. He doesn't just describe them like bugs. He puts you inside their world, their senses, their alien way of thinking.
You feel their chemical language, their collective problem solving.
Exactly. And somehow it still feels relatable. You understand their motivations. It's amazing skill, honestly, making you genuinely care about these intelligent arachnids.
That's precisely why it works so well. He makes the alien understandable without just making them humans in spider suits. Their intelligence, their society, it's distinctly theirs, rooted in their biology, but their struggles, survival, innovation, philosophy, they resonate. And that nuanced portrayal is surely why it got so much acclaim.
Yeah, no kidding. Children of Time was hugely celebrated when it came out. Critics loved how original it was, the sheer scientific imagination, how it took classic sci-fi ideas like generation ships and uplifting.
And just did something totally fresh with them.
Totally new places. And it won the Arthur C. Clarke Award in 2016. That's like a huge deal in science fiction.
A very big deal. And lots of critics pointed out that unique mix evolutionary biology meets space opera, plus the moral depth and that brave focus on non-human main characters.
Yeah.
People often compare it for its sheer scope and ideas to classics by people like Arthur C. Clarke himself or Olaf Stapledon, even Kim Stanley Robinson, books that really expand your thinking about life and intelligence.
It leaves you with this incredible sense of wonder, doesn't it?
It really does.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener, thinking about picking this up? Our deep dive, I hope, shows that Children of Time isn't just a gripping story with amazing world building. It's widely seen as one of the most important sci-fi novels of the 21st century, and for good reason.
It entertains massively, But it's also this huge thought experiment, a warning, maybe, but ultimately also a really hopeful vision for how diverse life might exist and interact in the universe.
Yeah, it leaves you with this kind of haunting but also optimistic message about where we fit in or where we could fit in.
Definitely.
So our deep dive into Children of Time, it really has shown a story that shakes up that comfortable human-centered view of things, doesn't it? Makes you face the idea that human superiority isn't guaranteed, maybe isn't even the point.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that survival might not be about winning, about dominating. Maybe it's about forging connections across species, across time, across worlds.
It definitely makes you rethink what we value, our place in the grand scheme of things.
And that leads us, I think, to a really interesting question to leave you with. What if our greatest strength isn't our smarts or our tech, but actually our capacity for empathy,
Oh.
for adaptation, even with beings we see as completely fundamentally alien? It's a thought that really sticks with you, way beyond the book, challenges us to think about what civilized actually means, especially in a universe that might be teeming with intelligences we can barely imagine.
A perfect thought to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We really hope you'll check out Children of Time and grapple with its profound ideas yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, read it.
Until next time, keep thinking, keep learning, and keep diving deep.